Hi, so this is my commentary on past, present, and future adversity. I think it was a really interesting documentary. For me, it played very much like an educational documentary. So this is something that the institution could use for the next generations to come, to learn, to be encouraged as well, and to kind of see the processes and kind of the next steps of what it'll take to make the sports even better, track and field. Um, I do think that I do enjoy the sort of the tracking process of the documentary. So taking us through their training process and then through the competition, and to sort of see how each of the characters, I would say, or the subjects played out at the competition, and you get to see how their training served them, and again how they can improve next time. So I do think it's one of those sort of documentaries which is interesting. So it can be taken out into festivals, but then it can also be taken back into the institution to help the kids. There was a section right after the title sequence, however, that there was no sound. Maybe that's something to be checked out. But I did enjoy the graphics. The graphics sort of played with the theme of sports, but then it also sort of played like a video game, looked like a video game, which is interesting. Which is an interesting choice, I think. Yeah, the graphics were very well done. Overall, I think it was a great educational documentary and very encouraging.
I really like the story and the subject matter of past, present, future adversity. The whole idea of like the sins of the past and the school and all of the drama with the school in the past and like how that affects the present and also the future of the track program and the school. I like the idea of a documentary that tells that story is a strong idea, and you executed it well here. Specific things I really want to point out. I really like the graphics. Those, because documentary, you get all types of graphics in all types of different documentaries, but these graphics stood out to me where I was like, oh, those are some nice, like those, like there's somebody like took the time to make them um outstanding. Um, so I want to shout out the graphics. Also, the parts when it was like really like when it was the coach talking to the athletes, showing that I think was a really strong choice because I, as somebody who's never ran track or did any sports in my life, found that fascinating. And I that was those were my favorite parts when it was like the coach like coaching for real, like breaking down the like ins and outs of how to like run track and like really like leading these kids. You know what I'm saying? That was fascinating to me, and um, that's kind of why we go to sports movies. I feel like. Um, so yeah, overall, really well done. Good job.
I thought this film was so fascinating. I love getting to get a glimpse into the minds of athletes because obviously the physical training aspect is very, very important, but I think that the people who really um, are successful and rise above and get the growth and the results that they're looking for, um, they have the mindset, and I think that the mindset is the most important aspect to um, being successful because your mind will always give up before your body does. If you can get past your mental block, your body can keep going. Your mind's going to tell you that it can't, but it can. And I think also getting to hear from the coaches and seeing how passionate they are and the things that they do to push their athletes, getting to see them coach them on camera. And I think they're so integral to building character and guiding them, but also empowering them to make their own choices for their own selves and their own bodies. Because at the end of the day, like nobody's going to do it but you. They can't do it for you. So it's up to you. If you're having shin splints, are you gonna run the race or are you gonna sit back? And like that's your choice, and you have to live with like whatever those consequences are. So, um, just I loved it. I learned a lot, and it was just really cool to see these young people doing what they do best and Just forever impressed by athleticism. Wonderful film. Loved watching it.
This is regarding past, present, future adversity. I think there was a lot involved in this that maybe I didn't get quite the full background on from the beginning because some of the sound was off right when Robert Poynter or Pops was talking in the beginning. So I don't know if I missed some of that crucial information. I believe something happened in the past. I did look it up a little bit on Google about San Jose, and I believe they're known for having like world record breaking athletes, but I don't really understand what happened. The track now, I guess, isn't sufficient enough to, or good enough to use for practice even, so they don't have a facility of their own. I don't know what led to that, but basically these kids now have to deal with not having a facility, which is part of the adversity that they face. I'm sure that there's a lot more to it, but I really liked some of the points that the guy made in the beginning about you controlling what the adversity is that you're facing. You're controlling it, not letting it control you. And also when the coaches were talking to the athletes about the pain that they were experiencing, I thought that was really important because I don't think we realize. I know when I had a personal trainer at one point, I had some pain I was dealing with, and I just didn't know if other people had the same issues. And my trainer basically told me everybody deals with pain at some point, and you just have to kind of figure out, where your kind of limits are and when you need to get those things taken care of and when you should still push through and still do the workout or still do the event that you're doing. And I thought this was a really good lesson on dealing with the physical issues, but also seeing how the coaches handle the athletes and are very vital to their success and keeping them going and the talking them through things. And I really thought there was a lot of wisdom in this, and the fact that you're not the first one dealing with adversity. Like sometimes we think we're the first people dealing with whatever it is we're dealing with, and I really liked that part of it as well, that they said that. I thought a lot of the narration was great. I really liked watching some of these events that they showed, the event recording, the footage of these events, this race that they were doing, the races, I guess. But I really kind of wanted a little more backstory maybe on just those two athletes that they showed with the pain, Micah, and I forgot what the girl's name was, but it would have been nice to kind of follow them a little bit, maybe, and watch them in the race. I think they mentioned Micah at one point, but I kind of wanted to follow one or two people just to get even more kind of invested in this. But I thought it was really cool, and I hope they get a new facility soon and they keep breaking records and can live up to the name that's been developed over the years, Speed City. And it was interesting and informative for me. I don't really know much about track and field, but I also don't know much about the San Jose track and field and the university and what their accomplishments are. So it was really neat, and I hope it does well for you guys. So good job.
So I just finished watching Past, Present, Future, Adversity. I really enjoyed this film. I found it very inspiring, very motivational. I thought the storytelling here was really strong. It's an underdog story. It has an important message. It just makes for a really engaging watch. This is a film that's very uplifting. You feel the support and the love, even if it's tough love, coming from the coaches to their runners. And it's just very endearing to watch. This is a film that's filled with interesting characters and people and figures. But I love the choice to make the coaches the key figures here. I thought that was a very emotionally resonant choice. Overall, this is a heartwarming film of overcoming the odds, and I thought the filmmakers did a great job.
Hi, these are my comments on adversity, past, present, and future. I really enjoyed this short doc. I thought it was really smart and very cool to have Ray Norton be the reveal of the fact that Ray Norton was doing the narration. Such a powerful figure in the history of track and field and just for African Americans. And so to have his contribution and such a really powerful speaking voice also really elevated, I thought, the documentary. And the coach, the passion behind the coaching facility, the coaching staff, and when they're faced with the lack of facilities and rebuilding this team, I thought all of that rang really clear and was really kind of cool to see all the events in the middle and watching sort of the building process, and to hear at the end all of the different ways in which they succeeded. All of those things really help to bolster the idea of like, what is it to go through adversity, and what is the adversity that this team has gone through and how they bounce back from it. So providing that context towards the end, particularly from the coach who was tasked with rebuilding this team, I thought really packed a punch and really hit home towards what Ray Norton, like the through line and the themes that Ray Norton was speaking to about what is it to really put your team on your back and to push even when the people around you or the institution rather isn't pushing as hard as you. And so I applaud all of the athletes, but also the filmmakers for really capturing their passion and the different struggles that they have to go through daily just to continue that legacy. I thought all of those things came really clear, and I really enjoyed hearing from the different members of the staffing team. I thought that was very smart to include their commentary, and they seemed very passionate, and I think those things came through really clearly.
So this is a really nice movie. I like the title a lot, Adversity. I like, that it's, we come in with that title wondering what world we're going to go into, and we end up in the world of track and field, and it's very cool to see, close up the process of, the coaches dealing with the athletes, and knowing that we have a central focus in this film, in this story, which is, on dealing with adversity specifically. So, but I didn't run track and field, so like I've never really been on the inside of the process. I've watched a lot of the result on TV and whatnot, but so it was really cool to see just the philosophy, the teaching, and the learning that goes on behind the scenes of it, and then seeing the results. There was a lot of really cool footage of seeing a lot of wonderful athletes really performing at their best, and it was really, really awesome to see that. So great job with this. It was wonderfully edited, wonderfully shot. Everybody, the interviews were great. Everybody did a great job. So it was well directed, and great use of music. And it was inspiring, and it was an excellent movie. So good job with this. And I hope it gets out there and gets seen, because it's really excellent.